Hi guys, welcome to the Instructor podcast. My name is Felipe Santiago and I'm the Director of Operations here at Aviator Zone Academy. So generally when somebody reaches out to us, they have a common question of whether it's Part 61 or Part 141 and what's the best option for them. And again, it really comes down to the individual. Not every customer that we come through our doors will be set as a 141 customer, and not everybody will be a 61 customer. Typically what we do in the flight school is if you have zero experience, we'll start you off as 141. And if you have already had some previous experience, then we'll do 61. And that really depends on the customer. Not always is the same. Usually if somebody has a lot more experience and they're very close to completing their course, then we'll go ahead and set them up on a 61 course. But for somebody that has never seen aviation, is brand new, we start on 141. That's a way better program. The important thing is to choose a flight school that has a 141 curriculum in their certificate. Why? There's a lot more oversight from the FAA for a 141 school. They have to follow a rigorous syllabus. The instructors have continuing education, so it really makes sense to pick a 141 school, whether you decide to go for a 141 program or a Part 61 program. A general misconception is that 141 is more expensive. While that might be true at some schools, that's not the case here in our school. We have seen with prior experience that a student that thinks that they're going to save some money by going 61 and doing a self-study course, they'll end up costing more money and they'll end up doing more ground school than a student that does 141, just because they have that more exposure with an instructor at the same time. So my personal recommendation, if you're fresh, 141. If you have some experience, then maybe 61. But there's goods and bads, and again, it really comes down to that individual. One benefit also at 141 is that if you're got your private, as soon as you finish your private, you can just jump right into your instrument training. You don't have to go out flying around aimlessly, time building, to be able to get the time to begin your instrument training. So again, a lot of benefits. It's better to come in, sit down with us and analyze and see what makes more sense. But if you're brand new, like I said, 141 is the way to go. Another common question we get is the difference between ground school and flight school. And in our flight school, they're both the same thing. So we don't recommend doing a ground school course and then doing a flight school after that, just because by the time you finish your ground school, you already forgot what you did at the beginning of the ground school. It's a lot better for the student to do ground and flight combined, because the stuff that you learn in the theory of the ground school, you go and apply it in the aircraft. For example, setting an altimeter pressure, you read that in a ground school, you're like, setting the pressure on the altimeter, what is that? But when you're going flying every time and you're setting you're correcting for the pressure on your altimeter, that's going to click, and it's going to, not only are you reading about it, you're actually putting it into practice as well, and it's going to have a better foundation for you. So the difference, one is you're in a classroom, the other one is you're flying in the air. We do both at the same time. You do ground and flight as you do your training, and that's all part of the syllabus. Flight training supplies. This is always a fun one because everybody is very curious, and now with Amazon, it's so easy to go on Amazon and buy stuff, and especially when you're really excited to learn how to fly. But my recommendation is don't buy anything until you come visit us, because we do have an approved course and approved curriculum. You have to use the material that we have approved for that program. We sell a kit here. It's very inexpensive. It's the same price everywhere you can get it. So we recommend that students just literally before they buy anything, come to us and see what we have to offer. Especially when it comes down to a headset. There's so many options available when it comes to headsets. Come talk to us and see what the differences are. We have low entry, inexpensive headsets, and there's a lot of headsets on the way there, and there's really cheap headsets that are not meant for student pilots. So you really want to have the guidance of somebody that's been there, done that, to be able to give you the best option in your case. We have a little pilot store here at the office that has everything that you're going to need for your flight training, and you can always come by and talk to our staff. Our staff is very knowledgeable on all the products because we use them. We really don't have anything in there that we don't use, so that's the best option. Do not buy anything until you know exactly what you're going to be doing. So what is required to enroll into a pilot school or any type of program here in our flight school? It's very simple. All you have to do is give us a call, set up an appointment with Alicia. She's basically the person in charge of enrollments, and she'll go through all your documents. She'll send you a list of all the documents that you have to bring. Once you set up that appointment, you come in, we scan and enter all your information into our flight school, and we assign you an instructor and you begin training. Unlike a lot of schools, we don't have a specific start date for training. because all of our training is one-on-one, you get assigned a specific instructor, and that's going to be your instructor throughout the entire training. You don't have to wait for a start date. So all the training is based on your schedule. You can set the classes whatever times you want. So if you want to fly at 9 in the morning, or if you want to fly at 5 in the afternoon, you have the availability to make that reservation based on your schedule, not on our schedule. So that's a very nice convenience of our flight school. And finally, my favorite question, what airplane should I fly? We do have a very diverse fleet, I would say, at our school. We have new airplanes, and we have the standard Cessna 172, the Diamond, the DA-40s. We also have different options in them. So you have the Cessnas, we have smaller Cessnas, big Cessnas, we have small Diamonds and big Diamonds. And it really comes down to budget. Obviously, I tell people, if you can only afford one, well, that's kind of narrows down your options. But if you do have the extra cash to be able to fly a more modern, more advanced aircraft, I always recommend people to do it. Really, the difference between the Diamond and the Cessna is a lot of years of technology advancement. So when it comes to safety, they did some safety enhancements to the Diamond. You have better avionics, more modern avionics, which you're going to be seeing in the future. Whether you're looking to do this as a career or doing it for fun, somebody that's doing it for fun, and if you plan to buy an airplane in the future and you want a glass cockpit airplane or a modern airplane, maybe a Diamond is a good option for you. If you're a career pilot and you're going to be flying the airlines, obviously very little airlines nowadays have round dials anymore. Everything is glass cockpit, modern avionics. So learning in an advanced, aircraft with modern avionics makes that transition a little bit easier. Can you learn on one and then transfer to the other? Yes. If you fly one, can you fly the other one with very little bit of additional training? Yes, you can fly both. So it really comes down to budget, and if you can afford it, why not? There's a lot of misconception of, you got to learn on the basics. Whoever's saying that is because they probably can't afford it, and or they've been hearing that mind virus for all their time. My personal recommendation: if you can afford it, go enjoy the new avionics. That's what I fly all the time, and I really enjoy it. It's a great airplane to fly. Also, I love the Diamonds as well, so I'm kind of biased on that end. But as far as avionics goes, go for modern. Forget about this old mentality of, you got to learn the basics. You're going to learn the basics on both. It's just a different presentation. All right, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this Instructor podcast. If you have any more questions, please leave them down in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer any more questions that you guys may have. And we'll see you guys in flight school.